What is up, guys? Welcome to WTF, the show where we talk about everything that's on your mind. And guess what, guys? As you know, last week we had our friends Poet and Vujan from our Copa 90 office, and you guys got at me immediately when that show went up saying how tall they were, how small I am for a defender, which is kind of mean, but it's kind of true. I had a huge vertical though, and I would dunk on you if we were ever challenging for a ball in the box. But let's get past that into some of the football stuff that you guys care about. First, we have Bishop who says, do you think Barcelona can still clinch the title or is it over? Well, here's the thing. Real are up by 2 points. They have a game in hand, but they have to play Sevilla. They also have the Madrid derby, and they're managing the Champions League. So while I think all of that is a challenge in itself, Barcelona have had a chance to get close, come back, put the title into their hands, and they've failed on that. So I don't think they're going to be able to come back. Speaking of which, we just talked a little bit about Real Madrid, and now we have a question that says, should James Rodriguez leave Real Madrid or stay? If so, where should he go? He could be great in the Premier League. I don't know if these stats are fully correct, but from what I saw, apparently he has 3 goals and 6 assists or something like that in just 8 appearances in La Liga this year. And I know everybody scores in La Liga, but he could be an asset too. Well, our resident Liverpool fan says Liverpool would love to have him. Doesn't know where he'd fit into the squad, but I think he could be good in the Premier League. I think he could be good in Serie A. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that I think he could have that quality everywhere. He's got the work rate to play in the Premier League, and he's got the touch and the abilities to play in just about any of the top leagues. So people would be lucky to have him. I feel kind of bad. It's been a couple years now that he hasn't been able to get regular time within the team. Such is life. Real Madrid need a new goalkeeper. Navas was just a one tournament wonder. Hashtag WTF. It's hard to find a top keeper anywhere in the world. It's impossible. You're going to have, Navas I would say is a tier 2 keeper. Your tier 1s are your Neuers and whatever that are consistent, your Buffons that very, very rarely ever let the team down and make mistakes. And then you go into tier 2, which is where I think a lot of American goalkeepers fall into. Still a world-class level somewhat, but Navas is very good. Zidane is backed up and said he's his #1. He's just making rotations to give other guys opportunities to play. And I think Navas has been very good, and he's been very good for Costa Rica. So it's a little bit overcritical, but I understand. You're a fan, and you have a right to an opinion. Next one here is, what can we expect from FC Leverkusen this season? Well, a lot of it depends on how much money they want to spend. You can assume that Julian Brandt's going to leave. You can assume that Chicharito might get an offer, Jonathan Tah. They have so much quality, but they are truly a mid-table team this year. So it's going to depend on one hand, you can say, okay, let's keep this team together and go for the same thing next year. Or you can make that 50, 60 million you're going to get from selling these players and use that to buy players or put that into the bank for the right guys and then work on building out your youth and kind of rebuild. So there's no perfect system to that, but I think both of those could work out in their favor. Moving over to the beloved Premier League, we always get a ton of submissions about that. Can Chelsea be stopped? Is Chelsea this good, or are the usual top 4 teams kind of slacking? Well, Tottenham and Chelsea are really the only ones in this race. Chelsea are 7 points out in front. They both have similar schedules, but Chelsea are good. Conte has really, really built this team to be, I know everybody's using the word pragmatic since the word attached to Chelsea has come out, but they are pragmatic. They know how to win championships. And quite honestly, they did it with the same team a couple years ago, except now they have a manager that doesn't play as much mind games as you have with Mourinho. You have a team that's buying into the system. Eden Hazard, Diego Costa are both in the top of the league in terms of goals scored. And so when you have guys like that are playing, they're playing for their managers. You have guys like N'Golo Kanté, and you have a team that truly does care. There's not a lot of flash to them. They're just all about getting results, and they're going to continue to do that. So I don't think Tottenham has a chance, even if they did have a fully fit squad. Can Sané become world-class at City, or will he reach his status somewhere else? Well, apparently you think he'll be world-class no matter whether it's City or somewhere else, but of course he can. He's an incredible player. He's only 21 years old. He has so much upside. Now, whether he does that under Pep, I'm not really sure, but Pep has the ability to develop players. It's a high-pressure environment, so you're going to get the most out of him. He's going to go through the ebbs and flows of making mistakes, maybe being pulled out of the team, maybe new signings. There's always going to be another guy where they can spend 20, 30 million and bring him in to challenge for that position, and that's only going to make him a better player. So, if he's going to be world-class, then it's safe to say that he can do it at Manchester City. It's clear that West Ham need a huge change. Who should come in, transfer manager, blah, 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 hashtag hammers. Well, do you want Arsene Wenger? You can have him. I will gladly give you him in his current state of mind. Not old Arsene, I'm talking about current Arsene. But outside of that, I mean, go get an Italian manager, one that literally doesn't care about playing well, that can play ugly, play solid, impress the fans by just getting results. You guys don't pay me enough to be your consultant when it comes to picking managers or signing players. I'm not a consultant. I'm just giving you my advice, and my advice is to go find an Italian manager. They're proving that they have a the Italian style of play is starting to be able to be implemented in all the leagues and be successful. I mean, look at Chelsea. They are the perfect example of that. So I don't have the perfect answer, but if I was giving you my advice as a consultant and you were paying me for that, that would be my piece of advice. So guys, this week, again, we had the second leg of the CONCACAF Champions League semifinals. 2 Mexican teams win, 2 MLS teams go out of the tournament again. You have to watch out for pants. It's like a free shop here for whatever clothes you want. They're baggy. If you like boot cut and baggy, let me know. I will come back and find them for you guys and send them to you wherever you are in the world, because I'm that kind of guy. I am your friend. Anyways, 2 MLS teams out, 2 Liga MX teams continuing. We've got some people saying Liga MX will always be better, which is kind of hurtful, but true at the moment. And FC Dallas showed they can play up to par with Liga MX teams, but lack the focus and composure to make their chances count when needed. I kind of agree with that. It was sad for all of us MLS fans to see FC Dallas that close. They went down to Mexico. They went blow for blow with Pachuca. They were into the next round. Essentially, they were so close, and then let all of us down by not being able to pull off the result they needed to go into the next round, which essentially is kind of offsets that, where it's like if you want it bad enough, you'll find a way to stay in the competition and move through. But I'm not gonna dwell on that. Let's move on to some more things. And as you guys know, or if maybe you don't know, yesterday Pat's new show came out, Punk Football on Tour, Volume 1. We've had some submissions from you guys about that stuff. Where should we go next? We want to know from you guys, where should we take punk football to the coolest places in the world, to the raddest venues, and we'll have Pat at the forefront of that, talking about all the weird, and you guys talked about the weird music. Pat talks about all this weird music. Pat is like the YouTube of music, where if you tell him, hey, who is Turnstile? He'll then play a song, and then he'll play 14 more songs, and then he'll go into the weeds about how he's a musician, lead singer for his band. By the way, which is true, he does have a band and he's the lead singer. It's actually pretty good stuff. But anyways, there's a couple submissions of where we should go. Colombia-Brazil match, which would be amazing. I would love to go down there. We've also got a few about Azteca. Azteca was one of my dreams as a player. I wanted to be able to play in Azteca. I wanted to be able to experience what it's like, 100,000 or 90,000 fans throwing all kinds of stuff at you, hostile environment, high altitude, really tough to breathe, really tough to play. Didn't get to. Maybe we're gonna go down there and do some punk football. We're gonna take a whole crew down there, shoot some documentaries, some fun stuff, some experiential stuff. Count on us being there coming up for the US-Mexico game at Azteca. On to some stuff that we gathered from FFS. What does FFS stand for? Well, FFS stands for football's sake, which is a play on words. Obviously, you all know what FFS means. We're saying for football's sake. And it's all about you guys, so we made something a little bit clever and fun, but that show is gonna keep on getting better, so keep on watching it. And these submissions are also from that show. We've got somebody calling us out about not covering Portugal enough, and I know. It's that time of year where every league is heating up in the title race, and there's so many big games happening all the time, and it's hard to cover all of them, so it's our apologies that we missed the Benfica-Porto match, but we will cover it more. It's a 2-horse race there between Benfica and Porto. Someone's gonna win it, so we'll keep following that and make sure we're reporting it for you guys. Next one is, we have some questions about AC Milan. They're in 7th, 8 games to go. Will they be able to get into European competition? Our resident Milan Ultra, I say Ultra as a little bit lighthearted. Our resident Milan fan in the office, Frank, says no chance without Bonaventura, who's out for the season. And we don't argue with our boy Frank because he is the most Italian guy in the office. He does this every time he talks, every time he misses chances, he does the prayer hands. So we would never argue with anything he says about Serie A. Next on to MLS, will Basti be successful in Chicago, and can Bayern win the Champions League? Yes. And yes, I don't even have to be able to comment on that. Bayern have won the Champions League in the last 5 years. Basti's come here, he scored in his debut. It's a long season in MLS. If he can handle the difficulties of the travel and all those things, he'll be fine. He was a world-class player and he's won just about everything as a player as well. Anyways, let's move on to my favorite part of this entire show, and that's addressing all you haters. This week we have somebody who says, Heath looks like Bob the Builder here on last week's WTF. I don't know what that means. Bob the Builder was not really. Oh, that's the Can He Fix It, Bob the... I've heard the song. I don't know what Bob the Builder looks like, but it's probably the jacket I was wearing, which I gave to my friend Booj. He's now traveling around the United States on tour with a jacket from me, so you're welcome, Booj. That's what best friends are for, even though you and Poet are best friends. I'm the 3rd best friend, don't forget that. We also have one, it was all a dream. We used to be addicted to old Kick TV. Pat, the intern, is a freak in a limousine. I don't know what that means. It's kind of a weird comment. It's also a play on the new studio space, which I want to know from you guys. What do you guys think of the new studio space? What do you guys want us to add? Little trinkets? Do you want us to put different posters up, different pictures on the walls? Let us know those kinds of things in the comments, because we love to take your advice and then build out that world with all of you. So guys, that is it for WTF this week. Get down into the comments and let me know your thoughts. And just so you know, we're doing a Champions League preview that's coming out on Sunday. So get in the comments there. Let us know your thoughts. And then next week on FFS, as well as WTF, we're going to be talking all kinds of Champions League, as well as the results from the weekends, as well as the coming up storylines. So get in on the action, get in on the conversation, and let us know what's on your mind. Until next time, guys, comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys later.